Hi guys, welcome back. Today in this video we are going to cover what are the components and how we can render components inside a component, right? So in the previous video I explained that a component is a page, right? So for your understanding you can consider this as a page, or it's a block of code which can be reused, right? Basically we are dividing modules into sub modules to reuse that. Let's say we have a page where we have a button, right, and we want to use this into the multiple pages, right? So we will create its own component and reuse this into the other components or other pages. So I'm going to basically build that here with the practical example, so then you will get an idea that what is component. Okay, so I have pretty basic example where I'm printing that message, welcome to the Vue.js, right? This is our one component, and if you want to create the another component you need to register components here, right, inside this component. Okay, so before this I'm going to basically wrap this property into a variable. It's not relevant to the component, I'm just doing this for cleaner approach. Let app equal, and then cut everything from here and just paste it here, right, align it properly. Okay, something like this, and then render this app variable here. It will be same as we are doing this previously. We are just directly using that, and now we save this into a variable and we are using that variable here. If I go here and get refresh, nothing changed, everything is working same as it was working before. Okay, now let's cover the components. So if you want to create a components, you need to add them into the components property. So before that data I'm going to create a components property, components, and then I'm going to also add a column, semicolon, add a column here. Okay, here in the components you need to create your own component. So let's say I have a component which name is app button, and this app button have certain properties, like this app button have a design. So we just consider this as a template. So in the template you can add this into the backticks. Oops, you can add this into the backticks, something like this, or I'm going to add to the new page something like this, but it's up to you how you are aligning it. So button, and button would be the, let me add a button here. Okay, and then add here submit, right, it's a submit button. And then as similarly we have in our Vue.js component we have data property, we have a methods property, and all of the properties like watchers, methods, data, and so on things. So each component have all of these properties, right? It's a template, contain a template, then properties of data, then properties of methods, all of that properties. And I'm going to apply here created property here when our component is created. So this have a property of created. So I'm going to add a console log here. Component is created. Okay, so when I'll get refresh, so this component should not be called by default, right? Let's get refresh. So you can see this, there is no console which is showing that component is created, right? Why? I have this component property where I have created a component which name is app button, which have a submit button and then this message. So if I want to execute that, I want to render that component, I need to call it here as HTML component. So this name is app and then this app button. So I need to call this same app button as HTML tag, something like this. So if I'll get save and refresh that, So, and yes, you can see this now, this submit button is appeared, which we added inside this template. It's appeared, and this message is also showing component is created. So it means that we have created a child component and imported that component here, and it's working fine, right? It's rendered now, it's showing that it's created. Perfect. So this one is called inline importing of a component inside another components, right? We have created a new component and added into the existing components. So when we are building a large application, we have multiple components, right? And each component have its own data, right? Each components have its own data. So then it's very hard to mention all of the component inside one file. So then we are creating into the another files, right? So that is a way to use that component. So let's say in this case we have one component and we are rendering that components here. So if you want to create the another button, let's say this one is a button, I want to create the another button, like it's a update button, and above one is insert button. Okay, if I go here and get refresh, so this content will not be reflected. It will show submit, right? But it's not showing insert or update. How we can get that? So for that purposes, we need to add here a slot, right? A slot and something like this. So let's get refresh, and yes, you can see this now, it's getting insert or update, but it's getting a warning here. Why? Because I have added here okay, slot. No, it's good. Let's get refresh, and still it's saying okay, it's passing this without this slash. Oh my god, I passed this wrong slash, sorry guys. It's a slash something like this, and yes, nothing is now no error, and our component is created 2 times because I have created this one and this one is twice time. So in this way you can create the multiple components. I have created the 2 components from the same components. I have created one and called it twice time. So in the next video I'm going to add them into the separate file as a separate component, and then import them into this file. So let me know if you have any confusion. I'll get back to you in the next video. Bye bye.